The different CPU scheduling criteria which are used for comparing the scheduling algorithms, that also we have discussed. Mainly we have discussed with 5 types of CPU scheduling criteria. One is your CPU utilization, your throughput, turnaround time, waiting time, and your response time. For a good CPU scheduling algorithm, the CPU utilization and the throughput should be maximized. The turnaround time, waiting time, response time should be minimized. Normally, we are calculating the turnaround time simply by subtracting the arrival time of a process from its finish time, at which time it has completed its task. Similarly, we are calculating the waiting time by subtracting the CPU burst time from the turnaround time. CPU burst time, how much amount of time the process requires the CPU for completing its task. Now the response time, it is the time from the submission of the request until the first response is produced. So we are getting the response time by subtracting the arrival time from the first response of the process. First response means first time at which time the process gets the response of the CPU or is allocated to the CPU. Then we have started discussing the concept of our fast CPU scheduling algorithm, that is fast come fast of scheduling. Now, with fast come fast of scheduling, as I have told you, it is the simplest one. Uh, Now, as the name specifies, fast come fast serve. So the first process that has entered into the ready queue will be the first process to be allocated to the CPU. Normally, fast come fast serve is a non-preemptive scheduling. So last year we have discussed last class we have discussed also one example related to the fast come fast serve scheduling. Yes or no? So in that example, we have taken 3 processes P1, P2, P3. Okay. For process P1, the CPU burst time we have taken is 24. For the process P2, we have taken the CPU burst time 3, and for the process P3, we have taken it 3. In that program, the arrival time for all the processes are fixed to 0. Now and it was asked in the program to find out the turnaround time, waiting time and response time for each process, and accordingly to find out the average turnaround time, average waiting time and the average response time. Now before to find out that turnaround time, waiting time, response time, we have to represent a NAT chart in which order how the CPU is allocated to different processes. So that is represented by the NAT chart. So in the previous example, it was given that the processes enter into the system in the order P1, P2, P3. So accordingly, P1 was allocated to the CPU first, then P2 was allocated, and lastly P3. As it is a non-preemptive CPU scheduling, so once the CPU is allocated to the process can release it only after its completion. Okay, it cannot release the CPU in the middle of its execution due to any other interrupt. So just go through that example that last class we have solved. Can you tell me what was the average turnaround time we have find out for that problem? Yes, anyone? For that question, what was the average turnaround time we have find out? Am I audible or not?
Ma'am, 27.
27. And what is the average waiting time we have find out? Average waiting time. Yes. Ankit Das, are you there? Ankit?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah,
Yes, ma'am.
tell me what was the average waiting time and average response time we have find out in that particular problem. What happened? Nihar, you tell. Nihar,
Ma'am, 17.
70. So we have find out the average waiting time 17 and also average response time 17. Remember, I have already told you, make it as a note. In case of your non-preemptive CPU scheduling, whatever may be, in case of non-preemptive CPU scheduling, the waiting time, response time of the processes remain same. So accordingly, the average waiting time, average response time of the processes are also remain same. Now, all of you quickly solve a problem. Take the same three processes P1, P2, P3. P1 having the burst time 24, P2 having the burst time 3, P3 having the burst time 3. Clear? Now, instead of the order P1, P2, P3, in this way the processes enter, let the sequence uh, has been changed to P2, P3, P1. Clear? Solve the same problem by considering the sequence as P2, P3 and P1 and quickly draw the Gantt chart. Consider the sequence is P2, P3, P1. Draw the Gantt chart. Same way, find the turnaround time, waiting time, response time for all the three processes. And tell me what is the average turnaround time, average waiting time, and average response time you have find out. Quick. All of you first draw the Gantt chart. Assuming the sequence is P2, P3, P1. For P1, same the burst time is 24. For P2, burst time is 3. For P3, the burst time is also 3. And the arrival time for all the three processes are 0. But they have been stored in the ready queue in the order P2, P3 and P1. Solve the problem and quickly tell me what is the average turnaround time, average waiting time and average response time. All of you keep the pen paper with you. We are going to solve the problems. Quickly solve it. Complete. Who have completed the question? You have to find out the average turnaround time, average waiting time, average response time. Abhisekar, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you drawn the blood clot?
Ma'am, doing.
All of you quickly complete the question and after completing, write in the chat box. Ankit, completed?
No, ma'am.
How much you have completed?
I'm just started.
Just started. Quickly complete. Chandrakant,
Yes, ma'am.
complete. What happened? Chandrakant,
I'm doing, ma'am.
Jagdish Naik,
Yes, ma'am.
completed.
Ma'am, 1 minute more, ma'am.
Have you completed the GNAT chart?
Yes, ma'am. I have completed the table. I'm just going to find out the averages.
Okay. Complete. Nikita,
Yes, ma'am.
have you completed?
Not yet, ma'am. I'm doing.
Up to how much you have completed?
Turnaround time.
Turnaround time. What is the turnaround time for the process P1 you have got?
30.
Okay. What is the average turnaround time you have obtained?
Average I'm calculating, ma'am. Wait.
Continue. Priyabrata Das. Priyabrata,
Yes, ma'am.
how much you have completed?
Ma'am, going.
Good. How much you have done? Doing I know. How much you have done, tell me. Have you completed? Alisa, have you completed? No. What is the turnaround time for process P2 you have obtained, Alisa? All of you do the problem. These are very simple one. Otherwise, you are not going to understand any problems that I am going to discuss. Amrit Kaur, have you completed? Amrit Kaur, are you there? No. Tanya Jha? Tanya,
Yes, ma'am.
have you completed?
Ma'am, doing.
Doing. Quickly complete. Jyotis, have you completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Should I tell the
So
answer
now
on
you
T?
just, what happened?
Ma'am, I'm finding TA team is the 15, waiting time is 4, and response time is 4.
4. What is the turnaround time for process P1 you have obtained?
Turnaround time for P1,
P1.
P1 33.
33.
Ma'am, it's will 30.
No. It is wrong.
Ma'am, 3. Ma'am, I am.
Turnaround time for process P1. How much?
And 30?
30. For turnaround time for process P2.
3.
3.
3.
Turnaround time for process P3.
6.
6.
Very good. Then what is the average?
3.
How 3?
13.
Sorry. 13.
13. What is the waiting time for P1?
I'm 0.
Waiting time for P1 is 0. Just check carefully.
Ma'am, 6.
So let me first draw the Gantt chart. I think the slide is visible to you.
Visible, ma'am.
Yes.
So here the sequence is given as P2, P3, P1. Arrival time is same. So here when we are going to draw the Gantt chart, at time 0, the first process in the ready queue is P2. So P2 will start its execution first. It will complete its execution at 3 milliseconds. After P2, P3 will start its execution. Now P3 having the CPU burst time 3. So it will continue up to how much?
6.
Tell me. 6. So
6.
this 3 starting time, this 3 is the starting time of P3 plus the burst time 3. So the finish time for P3 is 6. After that your P1 will start. And as for P1 the burst time is 24. So 24 plus 6 that is 30. So P1 will complete at time 30. Now, as I have told you, you can find out the turnaround time simply by subtracting the arrival time from the finish time. FT minus 80. F is your FT I am writing for finish time. So for P2, will be, the finish time for P2 is 3, arrival time is 0. So 3 minus 0, that will be 3. For P3 finish time is 6 minus arrival time 0. So it will be 6 minus 0.
6.
That is same 6. Now for process P1, finish time is 30. So 30 minus 0.
30.
Yes, that is 30. So now if you will find the average of 3, 6 and 30, you will find the average turnaround time is 13 milliseconds. Here, but when we have taken the sequence P1, P2, P3, the average turnaround time we have find out is 27. Just check by simply changing the sequence, we have got the turnaround time 30. Now let's find out the waiting time. For finding the waiting time, you have to subtract the CPU burst time from the turnaround time. So turnaround time here I have represented as TAT, and the burst time, this burst time I have represented as BT. So what will be the waiting time for P2? Tell me. Yes. What is the waiting time for the process P2?
0. 0.
0. 3
0.
minus 3, 0. Write in the expanded form so that you can understand how that value 0 is obtained. Now P3. For P3, what is the waiting time?
6 minus 3.
6
3.
minus 3. This 6
3.
minus 3. So 6 minus 3, that is 3. Now, what is the turnaround time for process P1?
6.
30 minus 24,
6.
that is 6. So what is the average waiting time you have find out? What is the average waiting time?
3.
3.
3. Now let's find out the response time. The formula to find out the response time is fast response minus the arrival time. So fast time P2 is allocated to the CPU. So what is the fast response for P2? Yes, what is the fast response for P2? 0.
0.
Fast time it is allocated to the CPU at time 0. So fast response is 0 minus arrival time 0. So final response time is also 0. Similarly for P3, the fast response is 3. So 3 minus 0. Arrival time for P3 is 0. So 3 minus 0. That is again 3. Similarly for P1, the fast response time is 6. So
6.
6 minus 0, that is 6. So if you will compare the waiting time and the response time, for each process, the waiting time and the response time, here it is same. So the average response time is also 3. Clear? So
Got
all
it,
of
ma'am.
you quickly write it. Or any doubt? Any doubt up to this? Quickly complete the table. Quickly draw the Gantt chart. So here we find that the same problem, when we have just changed the order, we get much better value compared to the previous one. Okay? Why? Because here in this second sequence, we find that the processes with smaller CPU burst time have been executed fast. So, previous case, in the first case, as P1 had started its execution first, so the smaller processes have to wait for the longer one. Due to that, the turnaround time, waiting time, response time of those smaller processes, that is the process which are taking or which are having small CPU burst time, those have to wait for a long time. Okay? So, what do we find here? Uh, if short processes are behind the long processes, then it will increase the overall turnaround time, waiting time, and the response time. So that effect is known as Convo effect, which is the drawback of your fast come fast serve scheduling. Okay, remember the drawback of your fast come fast serve scheduling is the Convo effect. If one process has a large CPU burst time and a number of processes have small CPU burst time, then if the big process is executed fast, then all other small processes will have to wait for a long time in the ready queue to get the CPU. So this effect is known as Convo effect. Normally, Convo effect results in lower CPU and device utilization. Let me explain once again what is the Convo effect. If one process has larger CPU burst time and there are a number of processes having smaller CPU burst time. So the processes having smaller CPU burst time, you may consider those are your input-output bound processes. The processes having the larger CPU burst time, you may consider there is one CPU bound process. So now, if the CPU bound process or the bigger process started its execution first, and all other smaller processes will start after that, then in that case, the smaller processes have to wait for a long time in the ready queue, waiting to be allocated to the CPU. So due to which your overall turnaround time, waiting time, response time, all those things may be high. So this effect is known as Convo effect. Convo effect results in the lower CPU and device utilization. You remember, normally compared to any other CPU scheduling algorithm, the average waiting time corresponding to fast come fast serve scheduling is very high, which also impact the overall performance of the system, overall performance of the CPU. This is particularly troublesome for the time sharing system, where the main objective is that each user should get a share of the CPU at regular intervals. So fast come fast serve scheduling is not a proper one in case to be used in case of time sharing system. What the thing? Now, before going to next problem, what happened? Now, before going to the next problem, all of you quickly attend this quiz. So I think all of you have completed the quiz. Now come to this problem that also you have to solve using the first come first served scheduling. Now in the previous two questions that we have solved, there we have assumed the arrival time for all the processes are 0. But this is an example where the arrival time are different. Different arrival times are given. Okay. So here there are 5 processes: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. The arrival time for the processes are given. That means at which time they have entered into the ready queue. The CPU burst time for the processes are also provided. Now you have to draw the Gantt chart corresponding to first come first served scheduling. Then find out the turnaround time, waiting time, and the response time. All of you quickly draw the Gantt chart corresponding to this one. Which process will be allocated to the CPU first?
P1,
P1. Then
P2, then P3,
then
P3, then P4, then P5, then P4, then P5.
P5. So let's draw the Gantt chart. Quickly, all of you also simultaneously draw it. So at time 0, there is only 2 processes available in the ready queue. One is your P1, another is P2. So here the sequence given is P1, P2. So first process to be assigned to the CPU is P1. The burst time for P1 is 5 milliseconds. So P1 will continue up to 5. After P1, then P2 will start its execution. Okay. So while P1 is continuing its execution, because P1 takes 5 milliseconds to complete, by that time P3, P4, P5 have also arrived in the ready queue. Just check, the arrival time for P3 is 1, for P4 is 2, for P5 is 4. So when P1 is executing, by that time P3 to P5 have also arrived in the ready queue. So now the next process to be started execution is P2. P2 will continue up to
8.
8. After P2, next the process to be started is P3. P3 will continue up to
9.
9 because the CPU burst time is 1. So 8 plus 1, that is 9. After P3, what is the next process to start? Yes, after P3, next one?
P4.
P4.
So P4 will continue up to
15.
15.
15 because the CPU burst time for P4 is 6. So 9 plus 6, so it will continue up to 15. Now after P4, finally P5 will allocated to the CPU. P5 will start its execution at 15 and it will continue up to
17.
17. So all of you quickly complete the chart. Now looking at the chart, fill the table for the turnaround time, waiting time and the response time. Turnaround time you can calculate from the finish time and the arrival time. Finish time minus arrival time. It will give you the turnaround time. For waiting time, use the formula turnaround time minus the CPU burst time. Similarly, for response time, use the formula fast response minus arrival time. So quickly find out the turnaround time for each process. What is the turnaround time for P1?
5.
So P1 finish time is 5, arrival time is 0. So 5 minus 0, that is 5. For P2,
8.
finish time for P2 is 8, arrival time is 0. So 8 minus 0, that is 8. For P3,
8.
finish time for P3 is 9, arrival time is 1. So 9 minus 1, 8. Write in the expanded way, otherwise you will get confused. For P4,
13.
how much?
13.
13. Finish time for P4 is 15, arrival time is 2, so 15 minus 2, that is 13. For P5,
13.
17 is the finish time, arrival time is 4, so 17 minus 4, that is also 13. What is the average turnaround time? Average turnaround time. Yes,
Ma'am, 9.4.
very good. It is 9.4. Now let's find out the waiting time. Who will tell me what is the waiting time for P1?
Zero.
0. The turnaround time is 5, burst time is 5, so 5 minus 5, that is 0. For P2, what is the
Five.
waiting time?
5.
5. 8, turnaround time is 8, burst time is 3, so 8 minus 3, that is 5. For P3,
7.
7. 8 minus 1, 7. For P4,
6.
for P4, what is the
7.
7? 13 minus 6, that is also 7. For P5,
11.
11. 13 minus 2, that is 11. Now quickly find out the average waiting time and tell me.
Six.
Very good. That is 6 milliseconds. Now let's find out the response time. For P1, what is the response time? What is the fast response for P1?
0.
0. 0 minus the arrival time 0, so the response time for P1 is 0. For P2,
5.
5. Fast response for P2 is 5. 5 minus the arrival time 0, that is 5. For P3,
8 minus 1.
8 minus 1, very good, 7. For P4,
9 minus 2.
9 minus 2, again 7. For P5,
15 minus 4.
11.
yes, for P5,
11.
15 minus 4.
minus 4, that is 11. So if you will just compare here the waiting time and response time of each process, you will find it is 6. So the average response time will also be 6. Clear? Or any doubt on solving the problem
Clear,
using
ma'am.
fast come faster? We have discussed the problem with the same arrival time for all the processes. We have also discussed the problem with different arrival time. So fast come fast serve scheduling, mainly the performance depends on which order the processes enters into the ready queue. If the bigger processes entered first and after that the smaller processes, then it will increase your overall turnaround time, waiting time, response time. It will simply result in lower CPU and device utilization. That is known as your combo effect. Now to overcome this drawback of your fast come fast serve scheduling, next we are going to the second type of CPU scheduling known as your shortest job fast scheduling, SJF. Already I have told you, fast come fast serve by nature it is non-preemptive. But remember, your shortest job fast scheduling, it may be preemptive SJF, it may be non-preemptive. If nothing is specified whether it is preemptive or non-preemptive, remember by the default one you have to assume is non-preemptive SJF. Because the preemptive SJF is also known as shortest remaining time fast algorithm or SRTF. So first of all we are going to discuss with the features of non-preemptive SJF. Now in shortest job fast scheduling, normally each process is associated with the length of the next CPU burst. Now when the CPU is available, it is assigned to the process which having the shortest next CPU burst. Okay, so with each process, or you may tell that this algorithm associates with each process the length of its next CPU burst. Now this value of the CPU burst is used to schedule the process with the shortest time. Now if two processes have the same length next CPU burst, then in that case the first come first serve scheduling is used to break the time. So as I have told you, your SJF may be preemptive or non-preemptive. And normally your whatever scheduling algorithms we will discuss, you will find that SJF is the optimal one. It gives the minimum average waiting time, minimum average turnaround time for a given set of processes. But it also suffers from some drawback. Here the main difficulty is that how to know the length of the next CPU burst. So that we will discuss later on. For the timing, let's discuss one problem based on your non-preemptive SJF scheduling. Okay? Non-preemptive SJF scheduling. Now suppose the processes, four processes are given here, P1, P2, P3, P4. Let's assume that the arrival time for all the processes, four processes are 0. The burst time is given, that is for P1 it is 6, for P2 it is 8, for P3 it is 7, for P4 it is 3. Now just check here how the processes will be allocated to the CPU. Now here the scheduler will select the process having the smallest CPU burst time. Okay? So how many processes are there in the ready queue? The scheduler will select the process which having the smallest CPU burst time. So accordingly, out of this P1, P2, P3, P4, which one will be allocated first to the CPU?
P4.
P4. P4.
P4, because P4 having the smallest CPU burst time, that is 3. So P4 will execute it first. P4 will start at time 0. All of you simultaneously draw the nut chart corresponding to this problem. So P4 will start at time 0. As the burst time is 3, so it will continue up to 3. So now with this, P4 has completed its execution. Now after P4, there are 3 processes in the ready queue, P1, P2, P3. So what is the next process to be selected for execution?
P1.
P1, because the next process having the smallest CPU burst time is P1, which having the burst time 6. So after P4, P1 will be allocated to the CPU. P1 will start its execution at time 3, continue up to 9. 3 plus the CPU burst time of P1, that is 6. It will give you the finish time for P1, that is 9. Now P1 is completed. Now there are only 2 processes in the ready queue. One is P2, another is P3. So which is the next one to be allocated to the CPU? After P4, P1, what is the next process to be allocated to the CPU?
P3.
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 Out of P2, P3, P2 having the burst time 8, P3 having the burst time 7. So the process having the smallest CPU burst time is P3. So P3 starts execution at 9, continue up to 9 plus this 7, that is 16. So finish time for P3 here it is 16. Now after that, finally P2 starts. P2 continues for 8 milliseconds, so it completed at 24. So now let's quickly find out the turnaround time, waiting time, and the response time. So who will tell me what is the turnaround time for P1? What is the turnaround time for P1?
9.
9. Correct. 9. For P2,
16.
for P2,
Two,
look at the
24,
formula.
24, 24,
24.
24.
24. Finish time for P2 is 24. Minus arrival time 0, so it is 24. For P3,
16.
16. For P4,
3.
3. So what is the average turnaround time? What is the average turnaround time?
13 perhaps.
30. Correct. Now let's find out the waiting time. What is the waiting time for P1? Waiting
9
time
minutes 3,
3.
6.
9 minus 6. Just go through the formula. 9 minus 6, that is 3.
3.
Waiting time for P4,
16.
16. 24 minus 8, that is 16. Waiting time for P3,
9.
16 minus 7, that is 9. Waiting time for P4,
0.
0. 3 minus 3, that is 0. Average waiting time,
7.
7. Correct. Now let's find out the response time. Response time for P1. What is the fast response? For P1, fast response,
3.
3. So 3 minus 0, it is same as 3. Now what is the response time for P2?
16.
16. Fast response P2 got at 16. So 16 minus 0, it is also 16. The response time for P3,
9.
9. For P4,
0.
how much? 0. Okay, fast response for P4 is 0, arrival time is 0. So overall the response time for P4 is 0. So just here check. As here we are solving the problem related to the non-preemptive escape. So for any non-preemptive algorithm, what I have told you, the waiting time and the response time all are same. Got the thing? So this is one note you make, and make the second note with the same arrival time for all processes. Your primitive escape and non-primitive escape works in the same way. Okay? So now let me take your attendance. Abhijit Raut,
Present, ma'am.
Ankit Das,
Present, ma'am.
Salman Pradhan, Parthasarathi Malik,
Present, ma'am.
Tanya Jha,
Present, ma'am.
Ashutosh Mishra,
Yes, ma'am.
Nikhil Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Rahul Senapati,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Aisman Ray,
Present, ma'am.
Chandrakant Gupta,
Present, ma'am.
Atish Raj,
Yes, ma'am.
Jatish Naik,
Present, ma'am.
Pratyush Patel,
Present, ma'am.
Anup Kumar Mukherjee, Hariom Kumar, Sandeep Misra,
Present, ma'am.
Trivikram Patnaik,
Present, ma'am.
Niranjan Biswa,
Yes, ma'am.
Rajiv Dubey,
Present, ma'am.
Sakriti Modak,
Present, ma'am.
Amit Kumar Sahu, Amit Kumar Sahu, Krishna Murari Sharma, Rian Ahmad Khan,
Present.
Rian Ahmad, Divya Prakash Naik,
Present, ma'am.
Akan Chatterjee,
Present, ma'am.
Ashutosh Sinha,
Present, ma'am.
Debajyoti Das, Debajyoti Das, Shikhar Swarup,
Present, ma'am.
Soumya Mahapatra,
Present, ma'am.
Tirsak Samantray,
Yes, ma'am.
Ananya Lekha,
Present, ma'am.
Shruti Namra Mohapatra,
Present, ma'am.
Khushi,
Present, ma'am.
Neha Ranjan Pali,
Present, ma'am.
Sibulita,
Present, ma'am.
Angelin Sahu,
M. Sibudas present.
yes, Nikita Rojalin Sahu,
Present, ma'am.
Krishna Samal,
Present, ma'am.
Krishna Abhishekar,
Present.
Present, ma'am.
Sheikh Mohammadi, Anjali Gaurav,
Present, ma'am.
Jyaprada Das,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Alisa Patnaik,
Present, ma'am.
Divya Darshan,
Present, ma'am.
Aditya,
Present, ma'am.
Diksha Kumari,
Present, ma'am.
Amrita,
Present, ma'am.
Rajesh Kumar Pari, Satyanarayan Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Prajwal Kumar,
Yes, ma'am.
Rupam Kumar Meher, Rupam Kumar Meher. Now you can leave the class.